we open up with a very young James scrounging around on the streets of New Orleans trying to make a living. Tell me about him at this stage of his life.
How old is he, do you think? Or am I? He's probably, well, I want to say he's probably maybe 8 or 9.
8 or
10
9?
at the latest.
So like 1850s, you think? Like pre-Civil War? Mid-late 1850s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He looks like he used to have like one good outfit, but he's been wearing it for like a month and a half straight, so it's pretty dirty and tattered and shit. But I mean, it's still like a nice vest. I think it's a decent hat, some pants that are starting to get worn through, and a pair of boots.
What happened for him to end up here? I mean, does he know? Is this all he knows, or did he have a home and a family?
No, he definitely doesn't have a home and a family. I think maybe he just lost his parents and refused to go to an orphanage. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's been on the streets long enough that he knows the deal.
Yeah. So what's he do to get by? Is he panhandling? Is he pickpocketing? Like what's his game?
Both. He panhandles. He pickpockets. I think maybe he like has a set of dice that maybe he like drilled a hole into to put some weight in, and he kind of tries to squeeze some of the other like kids that have money out of some money just by playing like dice in the alley or whatever. Maybe he like picks up some newspapers and tries to resell them out of the trash or whatever. Just anything he can do to make a buck here or there just to get some food for the day.
Yeah, I think we meet James as he's running from one of these loaded dice games where another kid got wise to what was happening, and
that happens often.
He's been caught, and this kid is gonna beat the fucking shit out of you if you don't get out of there fast.
Yeah, he's not a big kid. It's like James. He's kind of scrawny. I mean, he's been living on his own for a while, and he eats day to day, so he's more wits than brawn.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's New Orleans. A lot of people make their money gambling, rambling, all of that sort of shit. And I think those are probably the guys that James wants to emulate, right? These smooth talking dudes that he sees like walk out of the taverns.
Yeah, the people doing like the cups and balls and the 3-card Monties and all that stuff.
Yeah, the guys that are making a living doing this. I mean, those are his role models. Those are the only people that he sees that are doing anything with their lives other than just like drinking themselves away. So I think as Slick's running full tilt down the street, he's pulled into the doorway of a building by an older dude. And I think it's somebody that you recognize. I don't think it's somebody that would immediately set off your fight or flight instincts. I think it's someone I think it's Slim Jim. He's not like a high-level criminal, but he's somebody that you've seen, work crowds and work tourists effortlessly. He's one of the guys that you look up to. He's older, he's tall, he's handsome, he's funny, he's charismatic.
He's got a nice hat.
Yeah? What's his hat look like?
It's one of those like pop-out top hats.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that. He does the hat tricks with them too, where he'll like roll it down his arm and pop it out and pop it on his head. And and you don't even notice that he's taken all of your change or your pocket watch. You're so entranced by him. And he's probably taken some coins from you before and like given them back as like a, hey kid, watch out sort of thing.
Right.
Trying to teach you subtly, but... And sorry, I was going to have a voice for this, but I ended up spending all of my prep time in a job interview today. So he's going to sound like me, which is unfortunate. Well, like many of the NPCs, they all sound like me at the end of the day. Hey, kid, what the hell are you running from?
Those guys back there, they're right around the corner.
And he laughs and he claps you on the shoulder and he like pulls you into this saloon. And it's not a place that you're normally allowed to go, but when you're with him, nobody even looks at you twice. And he brings you to his table and he sits you down, and I've seen you around here a lot, kid. What are you trying to do?
Just, trying to he's still catching his breath from running.
Yeah.
Just, I just trying to survive on the streets. You know how it is.
And you see him real smooth, like he puts up 2 fingers to the bartender and gestures at you, and the bartender brings over 2 tall glasses of sarsaparilla soda, which is a luxury you don't often get.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely like looks at it, just sort of checks to make sure it's all right that one of them's for him, and just he downs it real quick.
Yeah, and without even thinking about it, Slim passes you the other one. It's just
he takes it, but he sort of, the first one was for drinking, this one's for enjoying.
Yeah, exactly, and he knows that. I mean, this is Slim Jim, man. He's the
got
coolest.
The money.
Yeah, he's got the money. He's doing well. I mean, he's well dressed for this part of town, and obviously he has that sick ass fucking top hat. And he always has money coming in. There's always fresh tourists. This is, pre-Civil War American South. There's money everywhere. I mean, things are obviously really bad in a humanitarian way, but there is money to be spent, and it is getting spent. And he looks back at you like serious, expecting an answer from you. You drank the soda. You've had a minute to calm down, and
I see the guys like you on the streets, and I mean, what else am I gonna do to try and make money? You know what I mean?
I've seen the way you work the other kids. I think you got something. I don't think this is the best life for anyone, but I think if you're here, you want to learn how to do it right.
You'd show me?
I've been looking for an apprentice. I need someone to work the crowds while I'm doing the cup and balls thing or doing card tricks. I didn't do enough research into this particular part. Everything else is very fleshed
It's just
out.
cups and balls. Cups and balls.
Cups and balls, and I need somebody to pick the pockets of the guys at the poker table while I'm cleaning them out. There's change that I'm not getting. I am talking pocket watches from drunk guys, and I think in a place like this, I think you and I could do well. People look at me and they know I'm gonna pick their pocket. They look at you and they think, yeah, he's just a kid. I'd feel him if you tried to pick my pocket. I think I can teach you how to do it. I think I can teach you how to be like me.
How to be like you. If you want to teach me, I'm willing to learn.
I'm not saying that you don't gotta earn your keep, because you gotta earn your keep, but I think you and I can strike a partnership of sorts.
Yeah, anything's got to be better than this.
Yeah, it is. And he gestures at the bartender again, a little bit differently this time. He's still so smooth with him, though you can't help but admire just how casually he throws up his fingers. And it's only a few minutes before a meat pie gets deposited in front of you.
Ooh, his eyes get big at that.
Yeah, you eat a lot of potato, you eat a lot of carrot, even some sweet potato, but this is fucking meat, man, and it's not rancid, it's not trash meat.
He makes sure that, once again, that it's for him and Jim didn't order it for himself, and he digs into it ravenously.
Yeah, and Jim smiles at you. He's gonna have fun with you, and not in a creepy way. Not in a creepy way. I realized when we were about 2 minutes into this that it sounded a little bit like it might be grooming. It is not.
You and I know that, but it's important to clarify.
Yes, it is important to clarify. So important. Slim Jim, not interested in baby James. Full stop. Anyway, I think next time we see James, I don't know, how old do you think he is once he's gotten like really good at it? I mean, good enough that Slim would introduce you to.
Probably 15. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, you've been working with him for 9 years now, almost 10 years. I think you're fucking good at what you do. And I think he's been teaching you the card tricks and the sleight of hand, and you're not perfect at it, but you're certainly better than a normal person would be. But the stuff that he's been teaching you how to do with a gun, I think that's where you've been really shining.
Yeah. He's got just a little, like a 2-shot Derringer situation that he bought with some money that he picked. Maybe he picked the gun.
Oh, yeah, I bet he picked that fucking gun. Yeah, he did.
And he was just allowed to keep it because he got it for himself, so.
Yeah.
But it's nothing big, just a little pea shooter, basically.
Yeah, but this is the Civil War, and you are certainly not involved. Jim didn't want you anywhere near it, and Jim himself is not anywhere near it. I mean, he's part of the underground scene here. It's not like anybody was knocking on his door to enlist, but you guys are making quite a killing picking the pockets of soldiers that roll through town. I think that's probably where you got your Derringer, from some young kid.
That makes sense. Some new recruit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's gotten to the point of the war, I think, where soldiers are bringing their own weapons. I mean, you got a gun at home, you bring it.
Yep.
But I don't know, do you think you and Jim are at that same tavern, that same saloon?
Probably. I feel like I feel like the tavern is also like a hotel. And so James just sort of has like a permanent residence there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He just pays with the money he picks and whatever, so. Yeah,
and I don't know, he's harmless. You two are harmless. You don't hurt anybody. You're just there to fleece the drunks and the guys who are a little bit too cocky at the poker table. There's nothing wrong with that. And you pay your rent on time. Exactly. What's there to be mad about? So I think you're sitting there with Jim, maybe, talking about the night that you had before, and I think it's pretty sudden. Maybe you're eating breakfast, trying to plan your day, and he's serious, and he's not always serious, but he looks at you and he tells you, there are some people that I should introduce you to. It's time.
Time?
You're old enough.
Other street people?
Kind of. It's, when I go to those meetings, the ones that you're not allowed to come to?
Oh, yeah, of course.
No. I think it's time that you came to a meeting with me.
If you really think so.
Yeah, you're ready. I've been trying to hold back just in case this wasn't the life you wanted, but you're practically a man now. James, sorry. I get over familiar sometimes. I just love you like you were my own son. My own son, not anything else. I don't know. I think it's probably a couple of days before this meeting. But it's time, and you two are getting ready, and he's put on his best outfit, his nicest clothes. He does his sexy little hat trick, pops on his hat, and he's ready to bring you to the nice part of town. Not the French Quarter, not where the tourists go, but, adjacent.
James did his best clothes as well. He's made a little bit of money, obviously, over the last few years, and he's got to look the part as well. So he doesn't have the fancy hat, but he'll get there one day.
He will get there one day. I believe that he can have a pop-out top hat if he wants one. But you can smell the money as you walk down the street. And I think you're itching to pick a pocket. I think it's hard to not when you can see how wealthy these people are. They won't even notice. They won't miss it. They're ripe.
He wants to, but he is also following the lead of Slim Jim, and if he's not doing it, it's probably not the best place to do it. He hasn't really done a whole lot of solo stuff yet, so.
Yeah, and you can see that Jim is actively keeping his hands to himself. They're in front of him. You can tell he's itching at it too. He's chomping at the bit to just slide on in there and grab a wallet or a pocket watch or something. But you guys make your way through town, and you make your way to another anonymous-looking tavern/saloon/inn. But this time you see a bunch of other guys sitting around at tables, and nobody else that's not dressed well. There's no one behind the bar. There's no one on the stairs. There are no prostitutes waiting on the upper balcony trying to solicit. It's very irregular for a bar like this in a neighborhood like this. But all of these men have the same shifty eyes you're used to seeing on other street people.
Yeah, James is just taking it all in, looking around, trying to. Yeah, I feel like he's learned to try and mark and recognize faces well,
for sure.
Which is a talent he learned just to make sure he doesn't take too much from certain people. So it's like if he marked him a day or two ago, leave him. So he's gotten really good at face recognition.
Yeah, I think you recognize a couple of faces. They're guys that don't necessarily work your part of town, but work, classier parts of town that you occasionally see or you've seen do business with Slim. But it's no one that you've met. It's no one you've been introduced to. When Slim does business with these guys, he tries to get you out doing an errand or something, and the only times you've seen them, it's been incidental, not intentional. Is there something that all of these guys have on them or that they're wearing that would signify sort of them as a collective, do you think?
Maybe it might be like a handkerchief that has like a monogram on it of some sort, like a logo, a symbol.
Okay.
Maybe it's a black handkerchief with a white stitching on it.
Okay, yeah, I think that's totally plausible. I think all of these guys have one visible. And I think that's not something that Slim typically has visible. I think, he has it, but he has some other artifacts that he just keeps with him that seem like they have importance. But he's a superstitious guy. I mean, he's really superstitious. He's always telling you about black cats and not stepping on cracks in the sidewalks and, not breaking mirrors and, the right way to do things. And it's always been a little bit silly to you. And especially when he starts talking about like tossing salt over your shoulder or like making salt circles if you feel like a demon's around. Honestly, you're a little worried about his mental health. Like he sometimes he says stuff that's like a little concerning. Like even to you, but he's your guardian. He's taking care of you. And so you just kind of take it as it is. You had a life before him, so you know that this isn't how people think or act. But it's Slim. He's harmless. He's a nice, normal dude. And then somebody gets on stage, and he goes on and on about activities and quotas, and it's going right over your head. Like this is dry as fuck. And I think if you look around and you notice one of the guys whose faces that you marked, like exactly where everyone's sitting here. This is how you've been occupying yourself while this man drones on for 45 fucking minutes about quotas. His face keeps shifting. Like it's weird. His smile's not right either. You know what I mean? Like the corners of his mouth reach a little too high on his face when he smiles.
A little too jokery.
A little too jokery. It's not like, I don't know, that alone I don't think would have set Slick off, but his face flickers. It's like, it like ripples sometimes, like he's holding something together with willpower.
I think as soon as he catches on to this and he sort of sees it happen for the first time, like, fuck whatever the dude on stage is saying, not important, he hasn't been paying attention this entire time. This is focusing, what the hell's up with this motherfucker?
Yeah. And I think he notices, and he winks at you. Not a sexual wink. I feel like this is very important for me to clarify because he's a young man. Anyway, the creepy man winks at you.
Yeah, so James is very like, oh, hey, this is immediately making the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And
oh, yeah.
It sets off every alarm bell I've ever learned to have, so... Yeah,
there's a bad feeling in your stomach. And I think that's it. I mean, that's what you get from that meeting. But Jim goes around afterwards introducing you to some of the guys in the audience, and not that one. That one almost liquefies and disappears. I mean, you don't even see him go, and you're watching him. He just... is gone.
He goes behind a crowd and just vanishes.
Yeah, you blink and that's it. He's gone and you don't find him again. But Slim Jim is introducing you to all of these people for the first time as his prodigy. This is James. James and I have been working together for a while, and I think James has real potential here. I mean, he's better than I ever was at his age. He's a damn good pickpocket, but man, is he slick with that gun. Show him your tricks, boy. And he tosses a 3-cent nickel in the air.
He grabs it right out of the air. He goes, just one? Come on now.
We're inside. Just show him a little something. And he gestures to you to kind of step out and show off your tricks. I mean, he's proud of you. You're like the closest thing he has to a son. He's put a lot of time and effort, and he wants to show his friends how good his boy is.
So... stepping out, into a little bit. He doesn't really need to go outside for this trick, I don't think, because he sort of gathers a few people around him, whoever decides they want to watch to see him show off. And he goes, all right, let's just everybody at the same time, take out a nickel, flick it in the air. And everybody, they'll sort of look at him, just kind of not sure what this trick is. And they go and flick it. And he immediately tracks all of them. And with both of his hands equally dexterously, he grabs all of the nickels out. And when he opens his hand, they're perfectly stacked. An even pile in both sides.
And Slim claps you on the back. Says, look at that, gentlemen. He can do a hell of a lot more. I think we should be considering him for membership. And there's like a murmur across the crowd. You can kind of hear everybody go, like old men do when they're trying to gatekeep something. Mm-hmm. But enough of them are intrigued. It's not like Slim Jim's ever brought him anyone before, and he says he's been working with you for almost 10 years. And do you say anything to advocate for yourself? I mean, I don't even think you really understand what's going on. I think, it was kind of clear that this is like an underground organization of people who make their money in not so legal ways.
Yeah, but I don't know if he says anything to advocate for himself.
Yeah.
But I think he just sort of idly starts playing with a watch that's definitely not his on his wrist.
Yeah.
From one of the people standing near him, just to show off that he can pickpocket the pickpockets.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
He's very subtly drawing attention to it without outright saying it until somebody notices that it's definitely not his watch.
Yeah, that dude sighs and he puts his hand out and he's like, all right, we'll let him try. We'll let him try. And it's clear that like Slim is a very low-ranking member. I mean, all of these guys are very well dressed and they look like they're from society and like they move and they shake. And Slim Jim and you kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel, but that's okay. There's a living to be made there. It's not like you've ever wanted for anything, not of the childhood you had.
Bottom of the barrel's better than not in a barrel.
Exactly. Yeah, bottom of the barrel, you're still eating.
Mm.
But these guys, they look like they're getting money. You sense an opportunity. You have that killer instinct now when you see something that looks like it might be a good scam, that it looks like you may eat well. It's a 2 meat pie kind of night.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Eat for a week.
Now I want a meat pie. Anyway. Yeah, I think you start integrating with the group, and I think you start spending time shadowing some other guys, not just Slim Jim. I mean, you spend most of your time with him. He's like that cool uncle, but you start to see that he's kind of weird compared to these other guys. I mean, these other guys are so fucking smooth, and the way that they navigate society is classy. They fit in. Nobody looks twice at them. But Slim Jim's shtick, he's meant to be a little flashy. He's meant to attract tourist attention. He's meant to gather a crowd around him so that you can fleece their pockets. You two have been making your living stealing money from drunk poker players and marking cards.
I just had this image. Who I imagine Slim Jim as is the bad dude from The Princess and the Frog.
God. Yes.
The magician.
Yes. Oh my God, yes, that is magnificent. Oh, Kyle, you've never had a better take. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what Slim Jim looks
Smooth
like.
talker,
Copyright infringement intended.
Oh, yes. But obviously stands out from the society.
Yeah, he's different. He's different and he wants to be different. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's involved in like voodoo hoodoo. Obviously that's like a big part of life here, especially at your socioeconomic class. But, you two are not particularly involved in that, although his interests in demonology are sometimes a little concerning. But you notice he's not the only one. These other guys, these like higher rollers, they're warning you to watch your back too. You've seen 2 of them now throw salt over their shoulder after making a deal.
Even though he's been around it for a while, I still don't think James still fully tracks any of that. Like, he recognizes it and sees what it is, but he doesn't fully, like, why? That doesn't make any sense. We don't actually do magic. We do hand tricks, you know what I mean? Like, we trick other people into thinking we're magical.
No one's explained it to you at all. And then one day you are I don't know, 16, 17. It's been a couple years since you got introduced to these guys. You still don't know the name of the organization. They never say it. Mm-hmm. It's just the group, the guys, the men, the meeting. There's no formal terminology. And the guy who leads the meeting is always different and always someone you've never seen before. And you've never seen that man again, the one with the smile and that uncanny valley sort of face that's just a little too off, and it rippled, and it was wrong. There was something about it that was so wrong, and it still twists your gut when you think about it.
I feel like it pops up in his dreams every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Just the smile.
Yeah, you think about that. That shit haunts you. You had a rough childhood. I mean, you've seen some fucking shit, man. But, that, there's no explanation for that. Mm-hmm. And I think one day you're out with one of, the highest rollers, one of the guys that works the really wealthy people. And he's not a pickpocket. He doesn't pickpockets. He scams. He gets people to invest with him. It's ruby mines. Ruby mines, he says he has out in Colorado. And they're not real. They're not real. But he has these beautiful gems. And they're colossal. I mean, they're unlike anything you've ever seen. You can't help but stare at them. It's the size of your palm. And he's bringing you along. He wants you to be his, I don't know what the word for it would be, but his eyes and ears in the party. He wants you to help him work the room subtly. And you're not quite the help, but you're there to get information from them, to get knowledge that may help him seal the deal. Mm-hmm. You're there to listen in on conversations, to ensure people are buying it, to quell any sort of discourse, to make sure that everybody's drinking and happy and having fun. Mm-hmm. You're smoothing things over. You're the fixer. And you're watching him work this room like fucking magic. I mean, man, he has these people wrapped around his fucking finger. And you know that these rubies can't be real. These are fucking glass. They have to be glass. I mean, there's no way they're real. And then somebody who's claiming to be a gemologist, I mean, somebody who really is supposed to know this, comes up from the crowd and asks to inspect the quality of the ruby. And without even blinking, this dude, he just passes it over. One of the smaller ones, not the biggest. I mean, that would be hard to inspect with hand equipment, but right there and then he declares that they're authentic. He declares that they're real.
I don't recognize this guy?
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, but the crowd just goes fucking wild. I mean, they're spending so much money to invest in this ruby mine. And you think at least $100,000 has traded hands tonight. And that's, we're talking immediate post-Civil War America in the South. I mean, this is unheard of money. And this is greenbacks, too. This isn't Confederate money. This is real fucking money. It's the most money you've ever seen in your life.
I think James he's very confused because he knows that these rubies aren't real, but this guy declared them real. So either he's in on it, he has one singular real ruby that he gave to the guy, which I think James probably thinks is the most likely option of the three, or there's something more at work here that he's just not aware of and trying to pick up on. And he's going to keep trying to work that angle while also just defaulting to that one particular ruby is real.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, when you are presented with a lot of unlikely options, the thing that's most likely to be the truth is more often than not the truth. Mm-hmm. It's not usually extraordinary. It's normally very ordinary. And I think James is a logical kid. He's smart. He's seen scammers work his whole life. But the party filters out now that this money's traded hands and promises have been made. And, lawyers are going to be contacted and contracts written up and things are to be finalized in the morning. And it's just you and this guy left. What's his name?
Smooth Sam.
Smooth Sam. It's just you and Smooth Sam left. And everybody here was calling him Samuel or Mr. Williams. He perpetrates himself as an aristocrat of sorts, even though he has no land and no money other than the $100,000 in his hand. But it's just you and Smooth Sam left, and he's smiling. He offers you a drink and to celebrate your success. Mm-hmm. He's talking to you about, I was a little skeptical when they said that there's a kid coming up in Noire. This is the first time you've heard the name. But I'm glad that you were here tonight. You were a great second. I would love to work with you again.
Yeah, I had a great time. I do have a question though, if you don't mind me asking.
Of course, anything, kid, anything. That's what I'm here for. This is a teaching opportunity, and he's full of hubris. He just stole $100,000. He's on top of the fucking world.
What's the work to trick the jeweler?
Oh, I had help with that.
Help?
Yeah, help. It's the help that we all get. You get a little help. You want a big job to go off, you get a little help. Yeah. Slim not I don't know, Slim not show you? I mean,
I'm usually the help. Isn't that what I was here for? Was there somebody else
help,
that wasn't? Different
help, kid. Different help. I the stuff that we don't talk about, James. The help. The reason that everybody and their mother puts a fucking circle of salt around their beds before they go to sleep. The help, James.
Slim hasn't explained any of that to me.
Well,
yet.
Oh my god. Then he takes a huge drink. He's a little baffled that you've made it this far with Noire without knowing about the help.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't quite know how to explain it to you. I think he takes another big drink and okay, that's fine. What do you know about demons, kid?
Demons?
Yeah, demons and devils and fiends. What do you know?
We live in New Orleans. There's a whole lot of hoodoo and voodoo.
I'm not talking about the hoodoo and the voodoo. I'm talking about demons, son. What do you know about demons?
Pretend like I don't know anything.
Man, Slim really dropped the fucking... So, he's gonna, I think, make you sit down first. What do you know about the Bible, son? I'm not talking the New Testament, I'm talking about Old Testament. What do you know about the Bible?
I mean, I've read it all. There's not a whole lot else to read around here sometimes, so...
That is very true.
Doesn't hurt.
Alright, well, what do you know about Satan? About him and what do you know about hell?
I mean, same thing everybody else knows, I suppose,
And he holds his head in his hands. He's like, okay, this is gonna be a long, difficult conversation. Demons are real, boy. Demons are real. Not all of that frilly crap is, but there are beings out there that, they use human life as, I don't know, like you would use a 3-cent nickel. We're valuable to them. And there are some of us who live on the outskirts of society that have found that it can be quite profitable to negotiate for the price of a human soul. It's not a proud thing we do, James, but it's a living, and it's a guarantee more often than not that you're gonna see tomorrow and be a hell of a lot richer for it.
He just sort of nods and thinks about it, and he's not going to outwardly say he doesn't believe any of that, because that would be extraordinarily offensive in the face of this man.
Yeah.
But he's definitely going to take it in and think about it. So everybody there has some sort of pact with these demons?
No, not everybody. And not pacts. You're being reductive. He takes another big drink. We just, we run in the same circles. We like the same things. Sex, money, power. Stuff that makes you a man. There's some of them that like the drink and like the smoke, and they come here to Earth and they piss away their time, and they do the things that men do. It's like putting on a costume for them. They pretend, but a lot of them, they just always want things. And if you have something that they want, they'll make it worth your while. So those of us in Noire, we know about him. We don't all associate directly, but those of us that do, well, look at your friend Slim, and look at me. He don't, I do.
He takes that in and thinks about it for a little bit and just sort of goes, so one of these demons, what? Was he the jeweler, or did he trick the jeweler? Or was it just
He gave me these rubies. They're real, son. Well,
those are
tonight real. They're real.
Tonight they're real.
Yeah, I didn't need them forever. I needed them for tonight. So I trade a little something. I get a little something in return. It's not a big ask, so it's not a big price.
I see. And he just sort of... He's sort of quiet as he thinks about things a little bit. Okay, I think I understand. So that they'll just, go back to being glass tomorrow, or dust, or they just go away?
Don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna throw them out. Don't need them.
All right. Well, whatever gets the mark, I guess.
And he flips you one of the smaller rubies and claps you on the back, kind of the way that drunk men who think they're better than you do. And says, go buy yourself something nice tonight. You got until midnight.
James looked at the ruby, and I think he does that. I think he definitely tries. He pawns it off as best he can at whatever the closest jeweler is, because he's not going to pass up an opportunity for some money.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, and Smooth Sam sends you on your way.
I think he gets back late to the hotel. He'll probably see Slim Jim doing some works, like in the parlor.
Yeah.
But he's got too much on his mind tonight and just sort of waves and heads up to the bedroom.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you were doing work for the company tonight. You know, Jim wasn't expecting you to help him. He's glad that you're finding your footing in this world, and that he was able to help you. I mean, he's so proud of you. Look at you. You're doing jobs for Smooth Sam now. I mean, you're moving up in the world. Look at you. You even have your own pop-out top hat. Do all those tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the next time we see James is at his confirmation ceremony. I know. This is where boys become men in Noire. This is where they earn their nicknames. This is where they prove their skills. I mean, you've been practicing for this for a long time. I mean, that little pea shooter you've had it in your hand every damn day for years. Yeah, you have a better gun now, but this one feels right when you do these tricks.
Yeah, I think it's probably on his 18th birthday.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So tell me, what does this ceremony look like? I mean, this is like a demonically associated organization that operates as pickpockets and scam artists.
I feel like it's in the even though the room they usually met in was sort of a basement, there's a sub basement below it.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it's a very interesting combination of what you would see in a demonic cult, stereotypically, and also a ragtime parlor.
Yeah.
So everybody's sort of wearing black robes and there's candles and shit, but there's also a pool table in the corner.
Yeah.
And a blackjack table.
It's giving Moose Lodge vibes for sure.
Very much man cave, do not enter, no girls allowed situation.
100%. I love that.
Just bros being dudes.
Yeah, bros being dudes in their sexy silk robes, chanting like guys do. I think everybody's wearing domino masks too, black domino masks. They don't normally wear them. There's no need. But this is a ceremonial time, and they're all wearing their ceremonial best because you've been coming up. I mean, you've been participating now for the last few years. I mean, you've been making waves. People love you. I mean, you did that huge ruby job with Smooth Sam a while ago. You've been helping Slim Jim for years. I mean, years at this point. You're an institution. You're the kid that everybody wants in their corner on their team when they need somebody, unassuming looking. You're still kind of slight. You're handsome enough that girls will look at you, but not so handsome that you have everyone's attention. You're just a normal looking kid.
Mm-hmm.
And normalcy is like such a big part of not just like undercover work, but of, you know, skating by without the cops acknowledging you. You're just another face in the crowd. You're perfect for this life. You are made for this life. And they know that and they want you. And Slim is not the one performing your initiation rites or your tests. This is a face that you don't recognize. Not at first, at least. The man at the podium. But his smile goes up just a little too high. Just a little too high on his cheeks. It's a little too toothy. And it lasts a little too long. And his eyes aren't quite right, and you don't understand what it is about them that's not quite right, but there's just something. He looks like he should be human. He should be a person. He should be.
He's definitely got... He's very good at acting, so he's got the heebie-jeebies, but he's not letting anybody know. But he absolutely is like, oh, hey, this is that same guy I haven't seen in... like 3 years since I was first initialized, and I still am weirded out about this. But he's not going to let anybody see that on his face.
So what are these tests like that Slick has to go through?
I feel like there's a specific item in somebody's pocket. He knows what it is. It's maybe like some specific marked coin. But throughout the course of like the night, he has to find it without anybody realizing that he's looking for it. Obviously, they know he's looking for it, but not to get caught looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's also... So I feel like at the end of the ceremony, he has these tasks and he has to prove that he accomplished all of them throughout the course of the party. So there's like the stealing the coin. There's... he has to challenge and beat any particular person at like a game of darts. He needs to... pull off some sort of I was going to say like, you know, a cups and balls or something like that, but all these people would obviously know how they would do it. And that's more of a street minded person kind of thing. He has to pull off some sort of specific other magic trick. And I feel like one of the tasks is designed to fail. I don't know exactly what it would be, but it's something that he wouldn't necessarily be able to accomplish without some sort of outside help, which is sort of the point of it. Yeah. So like at the end of the ceremony, or like when like the actual like ceremony starts, he has to like, okay, well, present the coin, and he pulls the coin out of his pocket that he found in Bubbly Bill's robe pocket. Bubbly Bill's robe pocket.
I guess he's legally an adult now, so I can't say anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he fishes through Bubbly Bill's robe and pulls out a coin. Special coin.
And he proves, like he has like a signed thing that he beats somebody at whatever darts or knife throwing or whatever it is, the trick game. And when it comes to whatever like the last task is, it's, you know what it is? Okay. The very last task that he has to accomplish, there's a small table set up in front of this strange man that's doing this ceremony and performing it for him, and he has to do the follow the queen trick.
Oh yeah.
And even though James is very familiar and he knows exactly what the play is, how to work it, he can never ever find the queen because of whatever this man can do.
Yeah. And I think as you're doing this, I think maybe third or fourth try, he looks at you and he says, "You give up?"
No, one more.
You want some help? A hint?
A hint?
A hint.
A hint. No, nobody. Why would I need a hint?
No,
I know this trick like the back of my hand.
Clearly not, or you would have already found the queen. And he presents it again.
I think he tries one or two more times before he starts to get really frustrated.
Yeah.
About the fact that he knows exactly it should be in the fucking middle. And if it's not in the middle, then it's because he switched the card at some point. And when they flip all the cards, it's right there and there isn't one. There's never a queen.
A hint. You want a hint?
Fine. Give me the hint.
Shake my hand.
What?
10 minutes. Shake my hand.
10 minutes?
Yeah. You give me 10 minutes at the end of this. Shake my hand right now, and you'll find the queen. Next round. Give me 10 minutes.
I think James really thinks about it because this man still skeeves him out, but he thinks about it and he reluctantly does it. He shakes his hand.
And you feel a rush of euphoria through your body as you shake his hand. You are the top of the world, man. This is... God, you're hot, you're smart, you're funny, sexy, cool. Everything that you've ever wanted to be right now, you are. And he starts the game again, and you know exactly where that fucking queen is. And he gets to the end, and he looks at you and he smiles, that little smile, all the way up his face. It creeps into his cheeks just a little too much. And his eyes flicker just a little bit, and you don't know what they flicker to, but there's just like a second where they're not quite right. And, where's the queen?
Slick, he gets this feeling, and he doesn't know how he knows it. There's no particular reason why he should know it, and there's also no reason why this should be possible. But he reaches into his breast pocket on these robes and pulls the queen out.
And the man claps in delight. Oh, magnificent. Magnificent. Oh, I love it when fruit ripens, don't you?
Yeah. He's sort of looking at this queen and sets it on the table and flips over the other cards just to reveal they're all jacks, like he knew they were, and he didn't know how he knew they were, but yeah.
And then he brings you back to the stage. You've passed your tests. You showed them all that you belong here, that you're not only as good as they are, but with a confidence that's like raging through your body. You know you're better than these guys. You don't need the things that they need. You don't need the alcohol that they drink to numb themselves at the end of the night. You're sharp. You're younger than them. You're smarter than them. You're better at blending in. You're better at pickpocketing. You're surely a better shot. I mean, you've gotten to the point that you can shoot one of those 3-cent nickels out of the air consistently. I mean, you could go do sharpshooting tricks at this point. And go travel around with Wild Bill. Make your money that way. But you don't need to, because you can make so much fucking money here. Then he pulls you to the stage, and you're there in front of this crowd of people that you know or at least familiar with, in their black domino masks and their silk robes. And this man, and his face kind of normalizes for a second. It's interesting how it normalizes, and he looks like anybody else, and still he sends that shiver down your spine. And he says, "This is Slick. Welcome, your newest brother." And he passes you a playing card. And he passes you a black handkerchief with white stitching. And the playing card is marked in a very special way with a very special symbol. And it's something that you've seen a lot in Le Mans Noire. I don't know, just kind of their symbology. And it's right towards the middle. If you weren't like looking for it, you wouldn't see it. It's on one of the suits, and it's a black suited card. He pronounces you Slick and names you a full member of Le Mans Noire, and then he's gone. It's like you turn around to face the crowd, and you see Slim just fucking losing it for you, man. He's so excited. That's his boy. And I think as you look at him and you look across the crowd, all of a sudden he's gone. Where the fuck did he go? This is like the second time he's done this. It's really annoying, honestly. But it's after the party now. He said he wanted 10 minutes with you.
Do I see him anywhere?
I think you step out the front door, and instead of stepping onto the street, you step into this smoky, sleazy, but incredibly gaudy and like well-appointed saloon. Saloon's maybe not the right word. It feels more like a den. There are people, beautiful, beautiful people, laying on their sides, smoking opium on chase lounges, and copious amounts of wine just free-flowing in glasses. And you see this man relaxed back in a chair, just taking it all in. He's not drinking, he's not smoking, he's just sitting there enjoying the indulgence that he's surrounded with. And he doesn't look quite the same as when you saw him. but you can tell it's the same guy. And he gestures to you to come sit across from him. There's a small round table, and on the other side, instead of like this luxurious chair, it's just a wooden chair. Just a back and no frills.
Yeah. Slick will walk over and sit in it. He's definitely looking around at all the surroundings, trying to figure out exactly where he's at. He doesn't feel right, but he doesn't necessarily feel threatened at the moment. So he's just, he'll go sit down and look at this guy, quote unquote guy. So, 10 minutes? What? Where are we? Who are you? How did we get here?
You don't ask any important questions, but that's okay. I'll answer the important ones for you. Someday, you're going to need a favor from me. And all you have to do to get it is play me in a game of poker and win. It's very easy to do. I don't know exactly when you're going to need the favor, but it's going to be a big, big favor. And I'm going to be real hard to find when you need it. So you better pay attention when you're on your way out of here.
Slick'll he's not exactly sure how to take that. Okay. Can I get a name?
And he sits and he thinks for a second. And he says, "You'll owe me 10 more minutes for my name."
What are we going to do for the first 10 minutes other than this conversation?
Don't you understand how PAX work, son? You're giving me 10 minutes of your immortal soul. My name's far more valuable. I'm just cutting you a deal because you're a kid. I've lived for 3,000 years, and I'll have at least 3,000 more before the planes shift and I'm blown somewhere else. But you? 55, 57 years? I'm just taking 10 minutes off the end of that. Some of those boys down there, Smooth Sam, they owe a hell of a lot more than 20 minutes. I'm not asking for all of it.
Fine. 10 more minutes.
Great. And he smiles at you again, and he extends his hand across the table with enthusiasm. The vigor of a record exec about to steal the money from a young starlet.
He shakes it.
Asmodeus. And just like that, you come to back in the tavern that you normally work. You're sitting in the same fucking chair, and it's weird because it's like the same chair from the tavern that you normally work at, and I don't know. Did you put 2 and 2 together while you were at his den of sin?
Not well, but when he comes back, he would sort of recognize it. But I feel like in the moment, he's sort of looking around. And he goes, "Well, I guess I didn't really figure out. Oh, wait." And he thinks about it, and he looks at the chair. He's like, "All right." And he reaches down with he's got like a pocket knife, and he makes a little X on the leg of the chair.
Nice. Yeah, and your ass never left the seat. I think the next time we find Slick, and it'll be the last time we find Slick this session, Slick's a man. So we find ourselves in Omaha, on 6th Street. If you're from Omaha, you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. Don't come at me with your dog shit mid-sized Midwestern city.
All right, we got beef with Omaha. Nice.
We find you sitting at a poker table in Omaha, and this is a really fucking nice hotel. I mean, this is like railroad money hotel. This is where Union Pacific's headquartered right now. This is like top of the fucking heap for cities. There's so much money here, and it's so fucking young. And it's fresh for you to take. You've been cleaning up. This is right before we met Slick, too. I mean, right before we met Slick. Mm-hmm. Tell me about this poker game.
This poker game has probably, 6 people sitting around a table. No dealer. There's just the big blind, small blind. Slick, a couple other guys, maybe a well-to-do woman nearby wearing some petticoats in one of the seats, and Don Ruiz.
Don Ruiz Ramon de la Cruz Castillo. And how do you know Don Ruiz Ramon de la Cruz Castillo?
I know that he is a rich mark, and I know of his name. I probably know that he is a baron of some sort, but not really any particular specifics about him. Yeah. Just that he is somebody who has a lot of money and also really enjoys gambling. which are the two things that Slick really enjoys in a person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Slick's damn good at it. I mean, second to his sharpshooting tricks, I would say gambling's probably the thing he's best at. But the sharpshooting tricks don't necessarily rake in money. It's not like he's, fucking around with Wild Bill Hickok or any of them, the gunslingers. But he is a shootist, so to speak. How many deadly duels have you been in at this stage in your life?
Slick's been in, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 at this point.
10 or 12, damn. That's a lot of notches in his pistol.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you're good at one thing, then you might as well do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I feel like he's got enough tricks up his sleeve as well to bend the odds in his favor a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you notice one other thing about this Castillo dude. I think you notice he has a thread wrapped around his arm. And you would recognize this thread as being the same thread that's wrapped around people like Smooth Sam's arms after they make their deals. It's not quite visible and it doesn't have color, but you can see it digging into his clothes and you can see it wrapped really tight, like it's binding. And it's not invisible, but it's not visible. It doesn't shimmer in the light, it doesn't glow, it doesn't move. It's just there.
Is this something that is normally invisible but only Slick can see at the moment?
Yeah, it's something that you started to be able to see after your initiation.
After my own deals, okay.
Yeah.
So Slick is gonna... You always got to start by playing normal before you start taking the mark for some money. So he might, he wins some, he loses some. There's nothing really important going on or anything like that. And he just sort of having a general conversation as well. Trying to pester some more information out of this guy.
He is not volunteering anything. He's clammed up. If you try and press him, he just says, let's just play. Let the cards talk.
The cards can talk and we can, both things can happen at the same time.
And then he smiles at you, but he doesn't talk. And his smile is normal. It's a normal smile. He's human, you think. And, he's kind of iced you out for most of the night, and you get to the end of it. There's really only a couple of you left, those of you who have been winning for most of the night, and he has a lot of money on the table. I mean, this is like fucking Smooth Sam money. This is more than you've ever had the chance to win before. And this is Omaha, Nebraska. You can get on a train in 10 minutes and be fucking out of here.
Slick, he sees the money, and he looks at his hand again. Looks back up, counts his own money. Call it. And he slides all of his money in, and then he reaches down and he puts his gun on the table as well, in the pot.
And Castillo smiles. Now it's interesting. And he calls it and pushes his whole stack in. And he smiles placidly. If he's bluffing, this is the best fucking bluff you've ever seen.
And Slick, taking a card out of his own playbook, goes, it sets his cards down and goes, well, if you're not going to talk to me, let the cards talk. And he flips. I think he wants to let the other guy flip first.
Yeah, Castillo flips. And it's a really fucking good hand. The only thing that's going to beat him right now is a royal flush.
Slick just sort of goes, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them, sometimes you just got to do it for the fun of the game, you know what I mean? And he sort of looks at him and sees if he can get him to talk a little bit before he flips his cards.
And he looks at you and he's like, you scared? Flip him. And he starts pulling the money towards him. I mean, he assumes he's won.
Yeah, it's like lets him assume he wins, and then he sort of he grabs his cards and he flicks some slave land on the pile of money that he's pulling towards him so you can see the cards.
And then he looks, and he pauses, and he looks again, and he's in disbelief, and he looks back at you, and he reaches for the gun on his hip.
Slick just goes, you gotta do it, man, you gotta do it. And he just grabs just a handful of coins, shoves them into his pocket, and if he's going for the gun, he's going out the door. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to, there's too many other dudes around to try and take them all down in one shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
He grabs some money, throws it in his pocket, and kicks the door open as he runs out into the night.
Trying to beat a windless game, dodging bullets all the way. Maybe I'll find you on my last day, and maybe I will find